And this special session, we're looking at electrifying cooking, a just journey towards net zero. But there can be no net zero without sustainable energy for all. So we'll be focusing on the opportunity to merge the electrification agenda with a clean cooking agenda.
Of where our emissions are coming from. So I was shocked when we did the analysis of my own country, Nigeria, that it's not from the power sector, even though we have 45 gigawatts of diesel and petrol generation. It was actually from the cooking sector with the levels of deforestation. So when we're talking about climate, I find it very strange that nobody links clean cooking to it. So if you didn't care about the people, which clearly what Fatih says, 500,000 people dying doesn't get you moving, then maybe you can care about the planet.
To your question about what we need next, we need money. This needs to be financed. We have the solutions. We know we can do it.
I want to focus on Africa in order to make sure that where the worst of the problem is, and therefore I believe we will do everything what we can do to make 2024, next year, a turning point in this clean cooking issue. I promise.
2024, the turning point. Let's thank.
A gigaton of CO2 emissions annually comes from burning non-renewable biomass fuels for cooking. About 2% of the global total and equivalent to the amount produced by the aviation sector. At the current rate of progress, it's estimated that 1.9 billion people will continue to rely on polluting cooking fuels in 2030 at great cost for people and the planet. But we can take action, and we're doing that today here. The COP28 Presidential Action Agenda emphasizes making progress on energy access, giving countries opportunities to leap into the energy transition pathway by providing access to clean, affordable, and reliable electric cooking. This will allow and unlock many beneficial spillover effects, including saving lives, improving livelihoods, empowering women, and protecting the environment, while accelerating economic growth. That's why today I'm pleased to see the launch of the Global Electric Cooking Coalition, GeCCo, to accelerate the electrification of cooking in developing countries. The coalition will present action plans and mobilize finance, with government pledging to elevate access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable energy in developing countries. Our announcement of support for this top priority action agenda item already includes the UAE's $4.5 billion finance initiative to unlock Africa's clean energy potential, within which we will support this initiative.
Accelerating Sustainable and Clean Energy Access Transformation, or ASCENT program. It aims to exponentially accelerate sustainable and clean energy access and provide life-transforming opportunities for 100 million people in up to 20 countries across Eastern and Southern Africa over the next 7 years. It has a World Bank financing envelope of $5 billion US. The program will also leverage an additional $10 billion in public and private financing. In particular, it will maximize and reinforce synergies between access to electricity and clean cooking. That includes enabling high-efficiency electric cooking as a clean, affordable, and reliable solution, which also contributes to productive use and financial sustainability of utilities, as we've heard about earlier today.
We took to board only last week Kenya, what you call the last mile connectivity project in Kenya, and it has a component of e-cooking. Not even just clean cooking, but e-cooking. So that is real. And I know that also in Uganda, we are working with the Ministry of Energy and discussing a technical assistant provision, as well as project investments that are aimed at boosting the e-cooking market in urban areas. Finally, I think, or second last, the bank is also looking into how we can combine carbon finance for investments in order to accelerate the uptake of clean cooking stoves and pressure cookers, and in order to be able to reduce the upfront cost of these appliances.
The research and evidence that Professor Ed Brown set out is absolutely crucial. 5 years ago, I think most people thought you can't really do this. Now people think you can. We've got the importance of electrification and grid baseload. This will help small-scale grids, this will help local power production, this will help many of the things we're talking about in the mitigation space as well. I think that is really important. It will also, I think, be really important about improving profitability for small operators, for a lot of the commercial sector who are coming in. We're looking at the future. We will continue to do this. We're really interested in how this links to carbon credits. You're all probably familiar with M-Pesa in Kenya. So you can take an electric stove, you can put a small, very cheap embedded chip in it. You know when it's working, it's saving carbon. M-Pesa or your mobile phone will pick that up, and then someone in other parts of the world who wants to offset that can make you a payment. So there are some incredibly exciting opportunities for the future that I think we will want to to continue to support. So, look, research, programming, money, ideas, you've got it. We will back this all the way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Residential cooking has been prioritized with target to reach 25% of households using electric stoves as primary mode of cooking by 2030. With joint financing from GCF, Government of Nepal, subnational governments, APC has been collaborating with various development partners, government organizations, subnational governments, private sectors, civil society, organizations and research institutions for the wider adoption of clean cooking, development of standards of electric cooking devices, awareness, engagement of private sector and financing institutions working together with utility and research institutions are some of the recent initiatives taken e-cooking.
To address this issue, the government of Uganda has developed a national e-cooking strategy that is aimed at accelerating adoption of e-cooking solutions from the current 1% to 38% by the year 2030. This includes all grid-connected households and institutions, as well as off-grid users, such as refugee host communities. My country's e-cooking strategy will support triple achievements in increasing the per capita consumption of electricity, increasing clean cooking access, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions emanating from the use of traditional biomass fuels.
Sorry, you are coming from the International Renewable Energy Agency. Electric cooking can be combined with mini-grids, rural electrification, food systems. So we see that good connection between renewable energy and electric cooking. But I think you're going to launch a report called the Renewable-Based Electric Cooking, Climate, Commitments, and Finance.
That number needs to increase rapidly. But the good news is that about 22 countries have put clean cooking and electric cooking in their NDCs and in their long-term strategies for low-emission development strategies. So I think that's really good. And in fact, out of these 22 countries, there are about 9 countries that are LDCs. And we have these examples from Kenya that started with a clean cooking strategy, had a component of electric cooking in it, but now it's also integrating its clean electric cooking into its electricity strategy, which is great because that's where it really gets mainstreamed. It gets the benefit of bringing in a utility-backed financing mechanisms and also the awareness that goes with it.
But I just want to talk about the innovation of what's going on as well and put some good news on how things are working. We think we see a lot of technology innovation. Right now, just in my home country in Lagos, we're testing out all these electric cook stoves in markets with women who cook for a living. All that is working. And then, even the financing that's coming now is coming in from different people. I have some people in Kenya that is the tech companies that are paying, because if women are paying for services and you can meet to them, then you can offer them so many other services. So I don't want people to look at clean cooking as, I gave someone a stove, which is what people are thinking. You should be so happy you have this stove. I think they need to look at it as electrification. You keep on evolving from it, and it is buying women, unfortunately, it's women that suffer the most time for them to be more productive in society, meaning there will be GDP growth and then the knock-on effects of that. So
this challenge, it's really important to look at it holistically. What are we dealing with? There's a technology component, there's a policy and regulation component, and there's a consumer awareness component. I think we're getting to a point where the technology is in place. The technology can now cook even my own traditional food called githeri, which takes 6 to 8 hours to cook on a 3-stone fireplace, can now be cooked with a pressure cooker very efficiently and a lot more affordably if you compare it with kerosene and you compare it with charcoal. Why do I give that example? I give that example to say that at the heart of finance is a unit economics. Can that unit economics justify a consumer going from using charcoal or kerosene to using e-cooking? And the answer today, with the technology we are seeing, with the cost of electricity, is yes. But I also want to reiterate that this isn't bigger than just the individual unit. If we're going to electrify our continent, there has to be adequate demand for that power. In the West, you have heating, you have cooling in the winter, you have cooling in the summer and heating in the winter. That's huge base load, which justifies economies of scale when you make investments in infrastructure. On our continent, our per unit consumption is very low, which means economics for electrification are very poor. But if we apply e-cooking as an additional demand in the network, then we improve the demand for electricity. And as you can think about it, if you've already installed the pipes and you can pass more through those pipes, it means per unit costs become cheaper. So to answer your question in a roundabout way, what I'm trying to say is that to finance e-cooking and clean cooking, we have to think about it beyond unit, beyond the individual consumer, to the macroeconomic benefits of that. And so I would conclude by saying that e-cooking is also really useful in that consumers are already known. They're already connected to the grid or mini-grid. Their consumption is already known. Their billing pattern is already known. So we can also go to on-bill lending, which allows the financing of those consumers.
We're working with a wide range of countries in supporting them in their objectives where they've seen the benefits of electric cooking. So this is an amazing opportunity. What GeCCo gives us is a broader coalition to bring that new opportunity to fruition in the way that everyone has been talking about. So we know already, for example, that the IKEA Foundation is supporting the new GeCCo initiative, which is an amazing opportunity. We know the Rockefeller Foundation, who was speaking in an event the other day on the massive opportunities for electric cooking through their foods and schools programs. It was wonderful to hear from the COP president about the opportunities under the IEA's funding, and to hear also from the UEA funding and from the IEA over the opportunities with this amazing new initiative early next year.
René?
Chair, if you think that this is the moment to make some pledge, then I don't want to do it alone. Then I really want my friends on stage. And my friends are Zeb, Elke, and Danielola, because they're really important partners in this endeavor. So please come to the stage. Otherwise, it's so lonely, and I can't take the credit.
Well, this is now
So what we want to achieve is to reach 5 million people in 5 years with 50 million euros of investment. It's about ordinary people, it's about their development, it's about their health.
So say GeCCo. 1, 2, 3. GeCCo. Bravo. Thank you so much.